Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Live with Alan and Greg and our guest Maeve from Maeve Ever Reads, or just Maeve Ever Reads.
It's Maeve Ever Reading.
Reading. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go. And we already have a few comments. They showed up a bit early. We have Tim. She's saying, hi, Greg, Alan, and Maeve.
Hello.
Lee showed up. Hello, Lee.
Hey, Lee.
There we go. Now, normally, like I said, we talk books.
Mhm.
I usually allow people some time to show up because I've gotten criticism that we just jumped into the books right away. People who are
Wait a little bit for people to come on. Okay.
Why have we talked about the books already? We wanted to hear about the books, so we're going to wait maybe about 10 minutes before we start talking about. We can just do some regular chit chat. Say hello to Pat at Book Chat with Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Lane at Cobalt
Hi,
Dragon.
I know Lane. I know Pat too.
Yep.
I don't know if I know Tim or Lee though.
Lee is a frequent commenter in this show and comes on to my videos and makes some comments from there. And she's very generous. She sometimes sends me books. I'm greatly appreciative of that.
Wonderful.
Yes. So Elaine says, love the color, May.
Thank you. It's new.
Yeah. See, someone already noticed.
I was like, I just did it and I haven't filmed with this hair color yet. So people have seen it on my Instagram, but not on my YouTube channel yet because I haven't.
I thought you had the red hair before.
I just switched my profile image and my banner on my channel with my new hair color, but I don't have any videos with my new hair color.
Yet. Okay. I just thought I'd recognize it. Maybe I'm just thinking of something else.
Yeah, I like change. I like to change too, you know. I think change is good. Yep. It looks good, Maeve.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm partial to redheads being Irish, you know.
I wish I was Irish.
My mother had red
I'd love to be a natural redhead.
Yeah.
Blessed.
Yeah, I always say my dad looks like a Mexican and my mother looked like Conan O'Brien. He's like dark.
Did he freeze? He froze when he said your mother looked like Conan O'Brien. I thought it was like for dramatic effect or something.
No, my dad, they call him dark or black Irish, you know, like Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Jill Hennessy, I think that actress's name. TV actress. Black hair, brown eyes.
Yeah.
But they're Irish. They come from like County Sligo, the west side, where I guess the Italians invaded back in the day and all that.
Have you been to Ireland?
Just once, 1996.
Where were you? Why were you there?
I was there on scholarship from Arizona State University. Thanks. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I studied at University College Dublin, got 9 credit hours. So it's on my transcript.
Awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I had to write an essay. We all did. A bunch of Americans. And it was great.
I would
Stuff
love
going on all the time. And I had friends there, and they let me stay in their little flat. They went to Spain on holiday. So I got to stay there for 2 months for free. Cool. And it was a 2-story house. Then they would got a knock on the door from the meat man and the milkman and stuff.
Yeah.
I had to cancel it. I go, no, I'm good. There was a corner store. Horses would be in the neighborhood and stuff. Not all the time. But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, well, my wife and I are thinking of taking a trip to Ireland in September.
Oh, yeah? I thought you were going to go to England first. Or Wales. She wants to go to Ireland.
I'm not in charge of this.
So, Dave, I have thought that.
I want to do that. I said, yes, dear, let's go there. Just keep.
Of course she wants to go. Good. Does she want to go back to Germany?
She does want to go back to Germany.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Because she was born in Germany. although both her parents were American, they were on a military base. Her father was in the service. So she actually had the option of claiming German citizenship when she was 18.
Oh,
because
okay.
she was technically born in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But she would have
been totally different if she would have.
Well, she would have to give up. She would have had to give up her U.S. citizenship.
Yeah. So
then I never would have met her or married her. So I would be.
So when is the trip planned for?
She's thinking August or September.
Oh, okay.
August because August in Virginia is just absolute misery.
Might as well be in Mississippi, huh?
Well, not quite as bad as Mississippi.
Yeah, not as bad as
I've never been to Mississippi.
So, whoa, not as bad as that.
Oh, I just remembered that would put a dent in Faulkner in August.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah. You could make it work. I mean, that's great, Greg. That's killer news.
It is.
Hey, Kat's here and Fred's here. William.
Yep. I was about to say it's about time to get to the comments. We got the ginger bibliophile Cat.
True ginger.
People say
we were just talking about red hair, Cat.
It's read by Fred. Hello, Fred. Libro Paradiso, Jill Hennessy with Law and Order as Ada Claire can. Okay, you're talking about a show I've never seen, so.
Irish. There you go, Jill. I like her.
People saying hi. People saying hi. And William says, if you're visiting UK, go to Hay on Way in Wales. I really want to visit that town someday. I want to go there with an empty suitcase.
Yes, always.
And just bring back a whole bunch of books.
If I'm ever traveling somewhere for more than a couple days, I will always bring an extra bag or an extra suitcase for books.
Yep. Pat was saying I was in Ireland this past September. It was positively gorgeous. Yeah, I imagine it would be. We're trying to work out what kind of itinerary you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is in Ireland, they still drive on the left side of the road. And my wife is going, I don't want to drive on the left side of the road. Just we're talking, it's like you come to a roundabout and
that would be so hard.
And the problem is your instinct is going to make you go right.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, there's this other car coming head on.
I think they have look this way signs like on the ground in front of you, like this way a lot for you. The signs are still in Gaelic and English too.
We'll see. We're thinking about taking more of a tour group that they have a class and they take you everywhere.
That'd be the way to do it.
Plan things and not as much freedom, but it's okay. We'll see.
Yeah, more detailed.
We're still working it out.
Today
is Monday. And next Monday, I could say, no, she wants to go to Ireland. No, not Ireland. Italy.
Scotland. Yeah,
it could change.
Sure.
And me, I'm just going to go, okay, dear.
Whatever you want.
It makes life easy.
Sure.
Work is done for the day. I'm so good now, Fred. Well, good for you, Kat. I remember getting home after a long day of work, and it's just.
Thank you, Fred.
Genre Books. Gavin, Genre Books lives there, Hay on Way. Oh, he lives near Hay on Way. Wow.
That's so
cool. He did a couple videos recently in the past few days.
I got a comment that I missed a comment about Alan looking sharp.
Who made that? Who said that?
Elaine said that.
Oh, thanks, Elaine.
There is
I had to dress up for our guest.
Comment.
It's
Alan
the first time here.
Sorry, Elaine.
Maybe it's the first time here, so I had to dress up.
I was going to dress up, and then I mowed my lawn, and I was like, well, I'll stay in my overalls.
That's funny. You mowed your lawn? Yeah, at first, I asked you one time if you lived on a farm.
Oh, no, I don't.
Remember?
I would love to live on a farm.
You had some picture of you, out in the fields with flowers and stuff. I go, you live on a farm or what?
Yeah, no,
you don't remember that?
I live on. No, I do remember you saying that. I don't live on a farm. I do have 5 ducks and a dog. Ducks. Yes.
Okay.
So like most people get chickens for eggs. I have ducks for eggs.
Oh.
And I have a garden area. I live on like just under a 1/4 acre of land.
Oh, nice.
And I live on the corner of a block. And so we've got, space, whatever. So we have fruit trees on the side of the house.
Wow.
We have 2 plums, a peach, an apricot, and a pear tree. We've got 2 cherry trees in the back. We've got some garden plots that I haven't used in like 6 years that I hope to use this year. And 5 ducks and a dog.
My father just said my dad had a lemon tree. He still got another one in orange trees in Arizona, but one was 38 years old and it got sick. He had to cut it down. Like,
no.
Yeah.
Peach trees don't last in Utah. We've had 3 peach trees and 2 of them have died. And one of them is dying because in Utah, the peach trees only last maybe 4 or 5 years before they'll just start dying. So
I just know Bryce Canyon. I've hiked that a couple times.
Yeah.
Down there really on the border. On the border. I used to do a lot of cool hiking, Grand Canyon and stuff.
Yeah, there's some really nice hikes in Utah for sure.
Yeah.
So William said they drive on the left in Indonesia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Smart man, just go with the flow. Ducks are now. Here's the question.
Yes, they are.
Do ducks recognize you?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Okay, so it's like, oh, it's her. We like her, and
it's
yeah. So I'll go out and I'll tell them, come on, to like get them into the pool or get them into because ducks eat grass and bugs and whatever. They don't have to have like feed like chickens do, really. Right. And they also don't need like temperature, like a heating lamp in the winter or like a fan in the summer like chickens do. They don't need a coop like chickens do. You just put a pile of hay in the corner. Fly. Ducks can fly, but if you clip 4 to 5 of their feathers on the one on the very end of their wings, they will not fly.
Okay.
So you just clip it's like clipping fingernails though. Like it's not any part of it's not like what you do when you declaw a cat.
So it's not permanent.
It's not permanent. Those feathers will grow back and
you have to clip them every now and then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So for them to not, and they will, even if you have domesticated ducks, if you have a breed that can fly, they will fly away. They don't care that you've fed them since they were little tiny babies or anything like that. They'll still fly away. So yeah, you just clip the one section of their wing. There's different ways that you can do it. We just clip the very ends of them and then they don't fly away. And but they recognize me and they come to me, but not to my partners. And so they'll like run away, or like strangers, they'll like run away and be like, oh, who is this person? So it's not like, oh,
it's really cool.
They're cool around all people. Right? They're like, they can recognize different. Like,
well, I'm a big Ducks fan. That's an
Oregon.
I know you're a Ducks fan.
We have a lot of ducks. No. I was looking for a shirt. This is the only one I could find. It's not football season anymore. But
duck around and find out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, we got creamed last year by Ohio State. Now, I'm a big Ohio State fan, too, because that's where I was born. And so I grew up like that. But Ohio State came back and beat us. We beat them. And then Ohio State won the entire thing. They have new rules this year. It's kind of interesting, but
new
college
rules?
Football.
Yeah, Zane says ducks are nice.
They are nice. They're nice.
Hey, Zane.
And Nicole,
I would get used to the ducks, though. I don't even know if I could eat their eggs. I don't know.
Thanks, Nicole. Duck eggs are, in my opinion, they taste better than chicken eggs. They have, if you like the taste of yolk, you'll like duck eggs because they have more of a yolky taste. Their yolks are bigger. They have more protein. So yeah, so like if you like the yolk taste in your eggs more than the white taste in your eggs, then you'll like duck eggs. They're not super different. It's kind of like the difference between eating chicken meat and duck meat. Like there's a difference.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're both poultry, you know, or chicken and turkey. They're similar but different. Yeah.
Nice that you have all that space. People saying hi. Amazing how many fruit trees you have in your space.
They're planted closer together than they're supposed to be. But we just like trim them so that we don't get as many fruit. Well, and we don't need our trees to produce a lot of fruit because we don't sell it. We just eat our own fruit or like make jam or whatever. But it's just for us. Like we don't sell it or use it as like a business or anything. So yeah.
Okay. Read by Fred is asking a question, and I was trying to get us to this point.
Okay.
Maeve, what has been your favorite read so far this year? So you can talk about that, and as we say, talk about something you're currently reading or just read, just to give us some reading and info.
Okay. Favorite read so far this year. I've read a lot of good books this year.
Like mine off the top of my head is Beautyland. And I read that in January. Have you read that yet?
I have not.
You would like it.
I'm going to have to check my story graph to see what I'm like, what 5 stars did I give this year? This is why brain fog is a thing. I can't remember what books I've read this year and what books I read last year. So I would say if I read Name of the Wind this year, then that would be my favorite read of this year. But I can't remember if I read it this year or last year. So
yeah, cool.
I want to make sure that I actually read that this year.
It's all right.
Which I did not. So
24.
Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm gonna get up and go get it really quick.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, or like the books I remember.
That was quick.
It only took me a second. So favorite book I read this year is Simulacra and Simulation by Jean Baudrillard. And this is a nonfiction book. It was a buddy read that I did with my friend Jacob. He has a manga channel under Meet the Weeb Family. And if you know anything about Simulacra and simulation, then you would know what this book is about. But Simulacra is basically a simulation of life. So like things that are in the world replacing things that we already had. So it's like, I'm trying to think of examples. It's really hard to describe this.
Sounds like formal logic or something, but on steroids.
Now, is this like a video game imitating a life?
No, so it's not. I mean, like video games are part of it because there are video games that simulate life. And sometimes people will get so absorbed into that thing that the video game becomes their life. And so that would be a simulacra, like the video game becoming someone's life, even though it's not real life.
Now you got me going to look up my books, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, or another thing that they talk about is like people who pretend to have a mental illness or to be crazy. Like they'll pretend to be crazy is proof that they're crazy.
I was about to say, if you pretend you're crazy, you're crazy.
So yeah, so it's like you're pretending to be crazy, but that means like that proves that you're crazy, right? Or he talks about how some people will pretend to be sick and it will actually make them sick. And so it goes into a lot of different things, like especially with technology. Like we don't go on vacations anymore. We just watch, reels or videos of other people going on vacation.
I'm
And
guilty of
that's our
that.
like simulacra of, where it's like, oh, we don't need to travel anymore. We could just watch videos about travel. Or I don't need to learn how to, really go out and hunt things. I can just go to this bar that has a axe throwing whatever. Like, whatever. So anyways, it's really like
sounds very technical.
Christy.
It does sound technical. It sounds really interesting. I'm trying to find a damn book that I read that is kind of like this that you would, but that's why I'm looking at my phone, Maeve. Go ahead though.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I'm trying to remember when he wrote it. Let's see. Because I was just like, so he wrote it in 1981, but it's like, it's definitely something that applies to our lives right now. Oh, another huge thing, fake news. Fake. He was talking about how some newspaper, like local newspapers, would change what was actually happening so that they could like twist the narrative and change what people believed about like certain politicians or certain whatever. And so it like, it's I don't know how else to describe it, but it's really good. It's very short. It's a really short book. And
Greg, do you remember when I read and reviewed that Amygdalatropolis? That was
you did not like Amygdalatropolis, as I remember.
Yeah, it was about the dark web. It was kind of like that. But the guy was like, just he hadn't left his room in 4 years, and his mother gave him his meals like behind a door and stuff. And he was it's a weird book.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it sounds like an interesting nonfiction book.
Yeah, it does.
No, it's really good. It's maybe weird to have my favorite book of the year.
Yeah.
You know something?
But I mean,
people are allowed to be weird on this show.
Yeah,
a lot of different genres though in that.
Yeah, no, I do read a lot of different genres though. Last year I mainly focused on fiction, on the fiction on my shelves, and this year I've let myself go back to reading nonfiction. So I've read more nonfiction this year than I've read fiction, just because I mix reading nonfiction, if that makes sense. Usually I would read like 1 to 3 nonfiction a month, and then probably 2 to 4 fiction. But this year I've been reading a lot more nonfiction.
What happened was last year I was a judge for the BookTube Prize nonfiction.
Oh.
So I was reading 3 at least. Well, you have 6 nonfiction books to read in 2 months. So
yeah,
I was reading a lot of I had multiple rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the nonfiction that I read was just rather not what I was looking for in my nonfiction.
Yes.
It was very memoir heavy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a memoir of a poet growing up in Jamaica. It could have been interesting, but I was more interested in history and the science, and so. But so it's like last year I read a lot more nonfiction than I am this year, and this year, like I said, I got to read at least 1 nonfiction book a month. Just get at least 1 in.
Yeah, there are so many different types of nonfiction. I always feel like we like subgenres, right?
There is. I mean, nonfiction.
It's hard to just be like, I like reading nonfiction, because it's like I don't like reading all nonfiction. Like I have read like celebrity memoirs or autobiographies.
I had 1 for the BookTube Prize. Oh man, did I hate that celebrity memoir?
What was it?
But like, I don't really usually read those types of things. I like reading about like science. I like reading about like self-reflection things, and self-help books are really fun. Any science, especially like anything with nature.
I've read a lot of self-help books.
Did you read Eve by Kat Bohannon?
I haven't, but it's on my list to read.
That was one of my favorite books last year.
Yeah.
No, I did it as an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, the author read it. It's hard to say, but I really loved her reading voice as well.
Yeah.
Is the story. So that really helped. And it's all about basically female biology and evolution. How the female body actually helped push our evolution to where we are now.
Yeah.
How important it really is. And I'll let people pick it up and discover it for themselves, because it's really good, because she talks a lot about technical scientific issues.
Mm-hmm.
And she does not feel like you're reading a textbook.
Yes. Those are the nonfiction that I really love. It's like, I want a lot of information, but I don't want it to feel like a textbook.
Right. There was one history book of World War II that I did for the Book 2 prize, and it was like a 1-volume history of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to squeeze
into 1 volume.
And one of the big things is, when he brought people into the book, he would say Rommel was in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
He does not bother to tell you who Rommel was.
Oh.
Because he assumes that you are a student of World War II.
Yeah.
And I know who Rommel was. He's big. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of lesser people just dropped into the book and go, okay, I'm not a student of World War II.
Yeah.
I don't know everyone.
Yeah.
Got to give me an introduction. Problem was, it was a 1,000-page book.
Oh my gosh.
So if you had to introduce everyone in World War II with 2 paragraphs, it would have been a 50 or 1,400-page book.
Yeah.
So I understand why he did, but I was not the intended audience. So let's get on some other current reads.
Well, I want to add a question, Greg. What was that book you were talking about? The one that prize that was a biography?
I'm Glad My Mother Died.
Oh, I haven't read
that. McCurdy, right?
I've heard of that. I wouldn't like it either.
She was a childhood star on Nickelodeon. Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it either. That's why I didn't read it.
I have not read it and won't read it. It was in one of my videos that I did. They asked like, what's a book that you would never read? And that's one of them. And for me personally, it's because from what I've heard about it, it hits a little too close to home and like my own personal trauma. And so I was like, I don't need to read a book that's just gonna like bring up my own past trauma. No. So yeah.
What self-help do you like, or what authors like?
Oh man.
Anything in your mind?
I feel like the main one that comes to mind, and it's like the self-help that I started with, is Marie Kondo.
Damn, I
very
don't know.
Like cleaning up your own.
Oh, Marie Kondo.
Yeah, organized.
Yeah, she's got a Netflix show now. She's written other books about, work and other things, just like organizing. And I really liked her book because not only is she like teaching you how to organize, but she's explaining like why organization can help like mental clarity and stuff like that. And she also talks about her like growing up and why, like me growing up, I needed everything in order or else I would like feel very stressed out. And so she talks about it. And yeah, but
here, you want me to stress you out? Here, look, I am really missing.
I've also been to therapy so that I can allow mess now. It's just like, because before mess used to stress me out, but now it's like I can be okay with things being a little bit messy.
Good.
It's just, certain things that I can't let it get to a certain point, if that makes sense. But like, if I go do the rest of my life,
that's when I finally clean up or get organized. I've got like 3 hobbies going on, though. It's like crazy.
The one thing about her that I don't like, she recommended not keeping books.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to have a small argument here. So she says that she only owns like 8 books or something like that. But she goes into other people's homes and
one
she
Ulysses?
tells them, what?
Is one Ulysses?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what 8 books she has on her shelves.
I just had to throw that in. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Maeve.
No, you're totally fine. But so she said, so one of the homes that she goes into and she like helps them tidy, they have like hundreds of books similar to, I have a lot of books. And she says, if these books are bringing joy, then keep them. And if they're not, if they're causing you stress, if they're cluttered, if you're hanging on to them because of guilt, like, oh, I have to keep this book because so-and-so gave it to me. And if I got rid of it, I'd feel so bad. She's like, then it's not making you happy. It's making you feel bad. And so a lot of people are like, Marie Kondo, she says that we shouldn't have books. Nope, she doesn't say we shouldn't have books. She says that she only has 8 because she only feels like she needs 8 and that we can have as many of whatever brings us joy as we want, as long as it doesn't become something that it isn't a joy anymore.
That's cool.
She says the same thing with like clothes and plants and something like so.
Okay.
How many books have we all received? I could probably reach one that says like to Jenny with all my love and heart,
I probably even have one right next to me. I actually love
books that I give to people. They just chuck them.
I mean, I do have a shelf of books that my dad has given me that he's written in the front of them. And even though there are a couple that I didn't actually enjoy, I keep them because I like having that, It's a letter from my dad because he always like writes a big thing and he always puts a date on it. And so it's like, even if I didn't enjoy the book, I like having that letter that he wrote me. So it's like, it's just a large envelope for my letter from my dad. Book-shaped envelope. Anyways. But just any type of like self-help that, betters yourself. I have one that I saw on somebody else's channel recently, How to Break Up with Your Phone. And it just talks about how like we use our phones so much of the time and like just giving yourself some space from your phone is a good thing.
Oh, yeah. I have 3 phones now. I have 3.
Do you use them all?
One for Voxer and that. One for one channel. I have another tarot channel. So I just had to upgrade my not upgrade, but I saved $25 a month by going to another service. I had to get another number too. So I got a free phone now, all this stuff. So now I have 3 phones. You're talking about getting rid of one or leaving one.
You just need space from them sometimes. You don't have to
I only take one with me.
Yeah.
But if I would travel or something and want to stay on Voxer, I'd have to take 2.
Yeah. Yep.
Alan, you need to change your Voxer account and get rid of that old. You had that old broken Voxer phone when you visited me, and it like has the cracked screen.
That's like 2 years ago. Yeah, I still have it. And then I have that's my worst phone. It's on its way out. But I mean, physically, it's gonna catch on fire someday and smolder out.
You'll be charging it and it'll just start a little fire. Don't charge it in your room where you keep your books.
Yeah.
Alan only has one room.
I live in a studio. My kitchen is like half the size of my room and I have a big bathroom. But yeah, I live in a studio.
Do you have counter space?
Yeah, I have like
kitchen area.
If I show you my art section, it's really messy. But I like one side is all kitchen and stuff, and then a refrigerator, and then I have a like art space. I have a lot of storage. But
so charge your phone in your kitchen area.
It stays really cool.
That's meant to be like fire retardant.
You would not believe me if I told you my electric bill, even in the summertime. In that it's only like $10, $20 a month.
I would love that.
And I have air conditioning too, but I rarely use it.
I mean, You live
the
in
sun
Oregon.
doesn't hit where I live. Where my windows are in that.
Mm-hmm.
I really like where I live. I have an art studio downstairs and a big community room.
Mm-hmm.
It's Native American community. I know you're part Native, right? Or you have
Me? Yes.
Yeah. So I got in because I had to submit my art, but it's like a Native American building. It's called Mamuk Tokiti is the name of the building. We have a big raven statue out there. I've been here pushing 3 years now. Statue's only like a year old, but it's a really cool place to live. Brand new. It's like 5 years old.
Yeah. No, that sounds fantastic.
My rent is super duper cheap. I mean, believe me, I don't tell anybody, but I plan on staying here until I go to Ireland.
I think that's a great plan. I also will probably stay in my house forever.
Man plans and God laughs too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Watch me get married next year. Yeah. God forbid. I can't even believe I said that.
Especially since you don't have a candidate to marry, right?
Well, I do. You don't know everything.
I don't know. Okay. One day I'll be surprised. Alan's married.
Yeah.
You'll get an invitation in the mail.
Maybe. All right. Any other books you want to talk about, Maeve?
I mean, I've got stacks, but do we want to read some comments?
Yeah, I was about to say we're a little behind on
yeah, let's catch up on some comments.
Good read.
Everybody up saying to boop the like button. If you're saying hi to each other, I'm kind of ignoring it. If you don't pick the fruit trees in my garden, people will come asking for them or steal them.
Oh, I give mine away. We have so much extra every year. I'm like, take them, please.
I just looked the book up, A Theory of Contemporary
I
Culture.
like good jam, like strawberry jam and that.
Mm-hmm.
Apricot jam. Always get good jam at the store.
So
Libro read
yes, so a lot of people have read this in universe. My copy is actually
okay, Derrida. Yeah.
I recognize Roll.
I have a student copy, so it's got like the highlights that the student put in it, which I buy most of my books secondhand, and I don't mind having writing in my copies. So
yeah, I remember reading Jacques Derrida. I forget what he was known for.
He was Derrida was the linguist.
Right.
And Barth, I can't remember what Barth was for. Foucault was all over the map. He was a philosopher mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he read them in the 80s.
Oh, nice.
Sounds like a very interesting read.
Yeah.
Here's Fred. Nature books are great reads. It's amazing how life works together to keep the ecosystem going.
You know Justin's channel, Triumphal Reads, Maeve?
Mm-hmm.
He's like nonfiction, mostly history, but it's science too. Triumphal Reads. I'll send you a link if.
Yeah, please do.
William says nothing wrong with a 1,400-page book. They can be hard to get through.
Yeah.
Cy Montgomery is a wonderful nonfiction nature. She writes about the octopus a lot.
Oh yeah, they're fascinating.
Okay.
If you've never read about the octopus, they are just amazing creatures.
Yeah, there's one that pops up in my shorts. Now, when you're watching video shorts,
we know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
we'll just have to say that Alan's got an octopus in his shorts.
Yeah. Anyway, they're fascinating. Yeah, really smart, huh? Can turn lids off and everything.
Absolutely,
they're incredibly smart creatures for sure.
So dolphins, they say.
Oh yes.
I used to love. I still love dolphins, but I had like a little metal, and I had a wooden dolphin.
I'm gonna have to follow you, William, because I have an old, like a bird watchers book that used to be my grandpa's, and there's little check marks of all the books. It's like Birds of North America or something, and he had little check marks in the book of like which birds he like saw or whatever. But I've started bird watching. I bought some bird feeders this year that you stick on your window so you can watch the birds.
We had bird feeders in our yard on a post. They're outside the window. So our cats like to watch the birds.
Mm-hmm.
And one night I attached some suet to the sides.
Oh.
And the next morning, the bird feeder was pulled down to the ground.
Oh.
And I said, what happened? We thought a raccoon got on top and caved it over. And so I put it on the other bird feeder. And the next day, again, it was pulled over and bent to the ground. The bar was bent. And then I was reading this app Nextdoor, and someone had a video of a bear going to their bird feeders and pulling them down.
You think it was?
So I did not personally see the bear, but I saw a video of someone else's bird feeder being pulled down by a bear. I see mine pulled down and going, maybe it's a bear that was in my yard.
God, man, that's crazy, Gary. But is it possible?
Oh no, a bear could absolutely pull it down.
I know, but not. You don't have bears out there.
We do.
You do?
They don't have a lot of space anymore because all their woods have been torn down and developed. And
that's scary, man. That's weird.
A bear is not going to hurt you.
No.
I mean, honestly, unless you do something to the bear. If you just see a bear, you leave the bear alone. The bear's going to leave you alone.
All right.
Now, if you're carrying some suet and some food, just throw the food to the bear. Leave it alone. It'll leave you alone.
Just wear the food.
Suet. No.
Oh, here's read by Fred. Yeah, he says Solve the Octopus. That's the book we were talking about by Simulacra. Really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Agree, Greg. I cleared out my fiction books. Silly of me, but that was before I thought of doing BookTube. But Maeve is right about. She's about Condé, whatever her name.
Marie Kondo, yeah.
Marie Kondo. People saying hi. Happy Sprint. She's off to sprint. Right, Paula. My eyes are hurting, so I'm going into lurker mode. Have a good one, everyone. Well, good night, Kat. If
you worked all day.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Kat.
Maeve, what genre of books did your dad read and leave you?
Dad read and leave me. So my dad raised me on fantasy. So he used to, when I was really, really, really small, he used to read to me and my siblings. He read us The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. And then he started reading us the Chronicles of Narnia. Those are the ones that I remember. The books that he sends me now, my dad's still alive. We still recommend each other books. And he's more into like general fiction that he'll send to me. And then also some nonfiction, like spirituality type of books. I'm agnostic and my dad is Christian. And so he has given me some, what book did he give me? Thich Nhat Hanh. So Living Buddha, Living Christ.
He's one. I like Thich Nhat Hanh though. He just recently died. Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad bought me a few of his books, and then he's also bought me one of the first. Is it sci-fi? It's right here. My dad got me Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Wow,
that's an interesting book.
When it first came out, and I just So
have you read that one?
I have. Yep. I read the books my dad sends me.
That's a brick. I've heard of it, but
yeah, it's quite large. I'm gonna just set it to the side.
But
so he gave me that one, and I'm trying to remember some of the other ones he's given me recently. But we trade books a lot, and the last time he came down to visit me, he tries to do a book club with his sister, my aunt, and they just don't have the same taste in books at all. And so I was like, we could do a book club together, you and me. Like we read fairly similar books, and I usually enjoy the books that he gives me, and he usually enjoys the books that I give him. And then when we don't like the books, we still have really good discussions on them. So
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So I really like reading with my dad, but he reads a lot of now he reads a lot of general fiction, history. He has always read history, but Native American history is what he's focusing on right now. And then religious / spirituality stuff. Yeah. But he does enjoy fantasy. He raised me on fantasy. So fantasy is close to my heart.
I'm getting ready to buddy read. I'm not getting immediately ready to, but Greg started the Steinbeck group, and I don't know if we're going to do like Grapes of Wrath or whatever, but if we do, or when we do, I'm going to buddy read that with my dad, Grapes of Wrath, because we buddy read East of Eden, me for the second time, him for the first, and really liked it. My dad's a Christian, lifelong, just Lutheran,
Yeah.
But deacon in the church and like that.
Yeah.
He's also a Freemason, but he's a complicated guy. But, he's a Christian, but he likes to read.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, too busy working, like 3 jobs and stuff. He was a fireman and that, to read much. But he liked movies. But now he reads voraciously, like all kinds of stuff, crime fiction, primarily. Yeah. He likes a classic if I force it on. He really liked East of Eden. It has a kind of biblical theme in that.
Yeah, yes. No, we've read a lot of different genres, but yeah. We talk about sci-fi stuff a lot too, but he likes to watch sci-fi movies, and I usually end up reading the books that the movies are based off of. And I'm like, I'll watch the movies too, but I always like to read the books if I know that it's based off of a book. And so I'll be like, you should read the book if you like the movie. It's really good.
Yeah, Greg knows all about sci-fi. I like Gene Wolfe and Simmons. I'm not really that well read in sci-fi like Greg is.
I've read a lot. I'm not as up on it as someone who's a real science fiction fan.
Mm-hmm.
They really know, because there are some science fiction readers who only read science.
Yeah, but you'll do until a real one comes along. You're really well versed in sci-fi.
I'm pretty well versed. They did a 100 best books of science fiction a few years ago, and I had read like 95 out of the 100. So I guess
there you go. Yeah.
Wow.
But you have to remember, I've been doing that since the early 80s. So
yeah,
there's a lot of years to fit in 100 books. It's not that impressive.
Yeah. Oop. Sorry, I need to grab my charger for my laptop. I will be right back.
No problem. Okay. Let's say hi to Gareth. Hello, Gareth. Gareth, it's great to see you.
Well, that was fast, Maeve, again.
I'm speedy.
Sure.
I was about to say, yeah, I barely got through 3 comments. Hi, here's James. Hi, everyone. Laughed out loud at Alan telling Greg, you don't know everything.
What? Oh, no, I meant about me.
I don't know everything. I didn't even hear that.
About me. He knows everything about everything else, but...
Oh, okay, yes.
He knows everything about books.
Oh, that's right. You said you know everything.
About me.
Yes, I've just started bird watching. I realized that a lot of the birds that I thought were sparrows that have been like coming to our bird feeders are actually chickadees and not sparrows. So that was a realization for me. I was like, oh. And then I also thought that there was a blue jay that was coming to our house, and it's not a blue jay, it's a scrub jay. So I'm learning about birds while using my grandpa's book.
That's cool.
So
well, that's the hard way. I wonder, I was going to ask if you use your phone to identify them somehow.
Oh, no.
It's a picture.
Then I have a book that has colored pictures in it, and you can look it up by
old school, cool.
Just the index. So I went to the index and looked up sparrows and went to the sparrow section, and I was like, these don't look exactly right. But the sparrows were right next to the chickadees. So I was like, oh, it's actually a chickadee. And then when I looked up the blue jay, the image was right next to a scrub jay. And so that's how I realized what I thought was a blue jay was actually a scrub jay. So it's these, I really like illustrated nature books. I feel like some of the old like photography just isn't as nice as some of the really old, like
some of the pictures
are really nice,
are really wonderful to look at. Just like they capture something unique.
Yeah.
In a good paint, in a good illustration or painting.
Yep. I love illustrations in
I bet
books.
you're gonna like Justin's channel, Triumphal Reads.
Yeah, please link me all the channels.
Well,
I'm gonna
actually,
have to
Alan,
go back through everybody.
I'm going to jump ahead. Lee also wants Triumphal Reads.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you, Lee.
Yeah, I just jumped ahead since you're talking about it.
Okay.
And I can send it to you also, Lee, if I can remember. And so Gareth needs to read The Octopus. Fantastic that you got a relationship with your dad.
I'm very lucky. Very, very
you
lucky.
You are lucky. I did not have a good relationship with my father.
I have no relationship with my mom, so it's nice to have one good parent.
Constance says Cloud Cuckoo Land is great, long, but not hard to get. It was. That's the one that has multiple storylines.
Yeah, multiple storylines, multiple
Greek translation, and and let's just say the spaceship story.
Yeah.
It was
all
really good
together, and then they all end up being one story.
Yes, they do.
Quite a good book.
And you keep wondering, how is it all going to tie together?
Oh, yes.
And then it does tie together really, really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Marcia's stopping by to say hello. Well, hello. People saying hi to everyone. Alan, yeah, send you the link. We'll do that. Which science fiction? Oh, here's Gareth for you, Maeve. Which science fiction books are you read recently, Maeve?
Read recently. Okay. Sorry, gonna have to go back to my story graph. Because I
tried to look up my Goodreads, and I deleted the app like everyone else. Maybe I'll have to start story graph.
You deleted your Goodreads app?
Yeah, at least on the one phone. I don't have it on my new one, I know.
I still have Goodreads, but only because I made my recommendations list on there. I don't know if you saw that, Alan. I've been keeping track of books that I hear about on other people's channels. Oh. I want to be able to, once I've read them, to be able to go back and say, I heard about this book from this channel, or sometimes multiple channels will talk about the same book.
Uh-huh.
And so
good idea.
So that's why I keep my Goodreads, because I haven't figured out a way to do that on Storygraph. But let me just get in here real quick to see what I've read this year so far. Because I also, some of the books that I feel like are sci-fi, I have found that they are fantasy and not sci-fi. And I'm like,
the distinction between the two can be murky.
Yes.
On occasion.
Great.
While you're looking that up, I'm just going to hit some more comments.
Yep.
Marcia started Homeboy today.
Oh,
boy, some interesting characters have been in. Yeah, I started Homeboy yesterday.
Yeah, Marcia and I have been commenting on, and somebody else joined the Discord too on Homeboy.
I got to go to this. I mean, it's not a fast. You keep saying it was a fast read, and it's not a fast read, Alan.
Yeah, I guess you're right. His print is pretty small. I used to have a large
one by Seth
Morgan. It's Seth Morgan. Wild book. It's it's a cross between like William S. Burroughs and Jailhouse Rock. It's like jail, and it's really drug infused, a lot of drugs, street life in San Francisco, Tenderloin.
Yeah. So I want to show you. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this.
I can't read anything.
Do you have it?
Looks like says Rex, big hard books and classics. And that is under.
Oh, okay.
And there's the book.
Homeboy, okay.
Oh, okay.
So I have that on my list to read on Goodreads, and I have that you recommended it. I heard about it on your channel.
Steve Donahue liked it. we asked him if he liked it. He did.
I don't dislike it. It's
yeah.
You kept telling me it was a really fast read, and I kept thinking I'd go through 125 pages a day, and I'm going, okay, it's not that fast. I'm doing
not as fast as you were expecting.
I forget how small the print is, but I read it like this.
You've got some interesting descriptions that are very
gross,
unique
and gross.
The one that struck me is he was talking about it's in San Francisco. There's 2 out-of-town dentists going to a strip club, and he describes their suits as an orange from a Motel 6 drapery.
Yeah, he's very descriptive, and
I'm going, now that just sounds like a totally tacky suit.
Yeah, very detailed. Like I mentioned to Greg earlier, he wiped his shoe off on the back of his pants, stuff like that in between lines. But he's really graphic and grotesque. It's about prostitution and all that street life and all that drug addiction. They're shooting up everything, and they're in jail, pulling tricks on the officer. All kinds of everything you can think of, almost.
Yeah.
But it's really original and unique. And I won't say no more anymore if you're going to read it.
Definitely not something that I would normally read, but I've been trying to go out of my comfort zone with different genres and stuff. And so that's why. So to get back to science fiction I read recently.
Yeah.
I just finished earlier this month Saturation Point by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Oh, I love him, but I have not read that one.
This is the cover. I don't know how to get that glare off. There we go. I checked it out from my library. That's why I have to show you here, because even though I'm trying really hard to read the books on my shelves, if I get a hold in from my library that I've had on hold for 3 months,
I
read it.
Too.
And I did really like it. I felt like it was very similar to oh my gosh, the Southern Reach trilogy, in the sense that Vandermeer. Thank you, Jeff Vandermeer. It was very similar to that in the sense that there is a space where things are happening that are not they're not a normal thing, but in this story, and then there's people that have gone in to explore and have died, right? But in this, the space, instead of it being we don't know where it came from, it was actually a man-made place where they were trying to produce more food in a way that they could like a farming area or whatever. And then you find out that there's more secrets.
That's cool. I mean, I've read 5 Adrian Tchaikovsky books now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have enjoyed all of them for the most part.
Yeah.
My favorite is Children of Time.
I have that on my shelves. I haven't read it yet, though.
Okay, that's really, I think, going to make a classic of science fiction going forward.
We should
you're not squeamish about spiders, are you?
No.
Okay. People who are squeamish about spiders are going to have a hard time with Children of Time.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Animals and insects don't bother me. I'm not afraid of spiders or snakes or sharks or...
I like spiders. They eat flies.
Alligators or...
I hate flies, so I like spiders, but you don't have to deal with flies too much in Portland.
That's nice.
Yeah, I used to hate flies, down in Georgia and that. But hey, Maeve, you want to read Buddy read Children of Time?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay, just in the future sometime.
Yeah.
When we
have time. When we don't have a million other things we're doing.
Count me in. I want to reread that one because it's the first of a trilogy, and I wouldn't want to read that one before I read the rest of the trilogy.
Yeah,
we'll have to think and talk about it. Maybe just keep it 3 or open it up to a group read or whatever.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't read a good sci-fi in a long time.
So Fred asked,
last year.
Greg, Alan, Maeve, are you all taking part in Horror Mayhem? If so, what are you all reading?
I didn't know Horror Mayhem was a thing. I only started reading horror last year. It was my genre. The last 3 years I've been trying a new genre that I haven't read before. So 3 years ago it was romance, or 2 years ago it was romance. Last year was horror. This year is Western. And I've continued to read romance, trying to find if I like romance or what I like in romance. And I'm still reading horror. I'm just adding Westerns to it. So
interesting.
Knowing that Horror Mayhem is a thing, I will definitely pick up a horror novel for next month, but I have no idea what I would read.
The whole idea, obviously just reading one is fine. You just, pick up what's going to be good for you. We're kind of, the idea is to read a lot of short fiction as well.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do is read across the decades. So you're not just focusing a lot. My personal goal is to read a short story from every decade beginning in 1850.
Oh, I am excited to see what you read.
So it's not as hard as you think, because a lot of these short stories are 15 pages long.
Yeah.
You can read one a day and no problem. So, and I'm going to be doing it in order.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see the progression of ideas across time. Obviously, you just read one story from a decade, so it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll start to see like I know early on it's going to be a lot of British Victorian ghost stories.
Yeah,
which were not going to be really horrifying or terrifying. They're going to be, oh, there's a ghost. Maybe
there was a sound, and it could have been a ghost.
It could, but what I got is a collection on Kindle of Victorian ghost stories written entirely by women.
Oh, fantastic!
Elizabeth Gaskell has some good ones.
She is. Elizabeth Gaskell, The Old Nurse's Tale, I think, is the one I'm going to read for 1850.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you read.
I'm reading Michael McDowell's The Elemental, and it's been on my radar for a couple of years because it was one of Scott Bryant's. He recommended it to me. So that's why they're doing Horror Mayhem after Scott Bryant. Him and his wife Becky, but he died a few years ago. 2 years now, pushing 2 years. So yeah,
I'll have to pick some stuff up.
Yeah,
I have some horror on my shelves. I've got a Lovecraft collection. I have Poe.
I didn't know you had Lovecraft collection.
I haven't read it, but I have it.
I've only been reading them for a couple of years.
Lovecraft is absolutely perfect for Horror Mayhem.
Yeah, I read one. I think I read one about a man in a cave, or somebody.
You probably read The Beast in the Cave.
Greg's been reading Lovecraft since he was in 6th grade.
Yeah, he wrote that when he was in 10th grade or 9th grade or something.
I think it's chronological. I think the collection that I have has his books.
So you read not his best short story.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you wrote it when you're in 9th grade, it's not going to be bad.
Yeah.
But for
it
someone
wasn't
that
scary,
young,
but I was like, this
it actually was pretty good for someone that young.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to do hashtag Cthulhu Christmas this year.
Oh, we're doing it again.
Oh.
Did we do it last year?
Yes, we did.
We didn't do Poe. That's right.
We scheduled October, but no one read anything.
I love Poe. I need to reread Poe. I have a Poe collection, and I've read about half of it.
Wow.
And I want to read the rest because I adore.
Probably read more than me.
Sorry, what?
You might have read more than me. I've read a lot of his poems and that.
Yeah. Pit and the Pendulum is my absolute favorite Poe.
Oh, I like the Cask of Montalago. I can't pronounce it, but
That's a good one too. Yes.
Yep. So William says he did not like the second.
Wait.
How the second characters had their stories jump around backwards and forwards chronologically. I don't remember that level of detail, honestly. I read it a few years ago.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get used to at first, trying to figure out like if it's future or past. But I feel like I still really enjoyed it.
I did. Agree. Wonderful blending of stories. Constance, I have about 90 minutes left in audio conclave. Enjoying it. Feels a bit strange given that is the Robert Harris novel.
Oh, it is
electing a new pope.
Okay. I didn't know that was a Harris
novel. This is why she says it's kind of strange, because the Pope just died, and now here's a novel about electing the new Pope.
Yeah.
I recently read his book Fatherland last year, and that was just brilliant.
Oh. Yeah.
Now, have you ever heard of Fatherland, Maeve?
I have not, but I have heard of Robert Harris.
Well, this is his first and probably most famous book.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mystery novel. It's set in the 60s. However, it's an alternative reality where Germany won World War II.
Oh, so kind of like Man in High Castle by Philip K.
A little bit.
There you go.
But this one is actually a mystery story, because you have your police detective who working with the German authorities, and he has to solve a murder, and the person who's murdered was high up in the Nazi party.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of getting instructions. You don't need to investigate this murder.
Oh.
And of course, being a detective, he's going to investigate. And you know something? If the Nazis were around, you don't mess with them.
Oh yeah.
If they tell you jump, you jump.
Especially if they won the war.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, it's a really fantastic book.
Mm-hmm.
One, because it's a good mystery.
Yeah.
Set in an alternate, and it's also this alternative reality, which is totally terrifying.
Yeah.
And you could totally believe that that's the way the world would look.
Yes.
If they had won World War II.
Yeah. No, I like books like that.
Oh,
Imperial up there by Harris.
Yep. Gareth approves of Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Yep, agreed.
Wasn't the author of Homeboy engaged to Janis Joplin? No, he was.
I think he was, yeah.
I read that. When I did my announcement video, I looked him up, and I did not know that. He was also her heroin dealer.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a wild life. Died in New Orleans on a motorcycle. But he was friends with some literati like William Styron, coming up after he published Homeboy. He was like on the fast track, like a Bret Easton Ellis at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And tragically died.
Mm-hmm.
But effed up on a motorcycle in New Orleans, what a waste.
Yep. Here's Marcia. Excuse me. Definitely outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I know we warned you though, Marcia.
And she's just confirming that he was engaged to Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
Gareth, I have read 8 Tchaikovsky books and liked them all. He's awesome.
I think I've read 4 of his shorter books so far, and I've liked all of them.
Which is it? I mean, I've read one called Elder Race.
Elder Race. I love Elder Race.
I thought that one was so fun. It was amusing.
Yes, it is. It was it's like what they call a popcorn read. Like, it's just entertainment. There's not like a crazy plot and, all of these different kinds of things. It's just like a really enjoying, or a really, just a nice short read.
Yes, and what I thought was really good about Elder Race is that it kind of showed you a fantasy story and a science fiction story that are the same story.
Yes.
It's just your perspective.
Yes.
because one of the characters just did not understand science.
Yeah.
And everything was magic to her.
Yes. Well, it's their whole race, right? It's her, like her and her planet and her people are all like, oh, the sorcerer in the castle or whatever.
Right. Because
the
they had lost their knowledge.
To, like, monitor you guys and report
we're spoiling the book. Let's not spoil the book.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sitting here kind of going like,
Elder Race is good. I mean, it is.
It's good.
I read it in one day.
Yes.
Now the thing is, I was on the cruise ship and it was a day at sea, so all I had to do is sit at the deck chair and read all day, and got through that.
Read
and drink cervezas.
No, I didn't drink a lot of cervezas on that because they were $11 beers.
Oh,
on the
ones you like. I said, like,
when the beer costs $11, you don't drink a lot.
Ones you like, though, you could probably get cheaper ones, but you don't like.
No, Alan, I was drinking like what's that Mexican beer?
Corona.
Corona. I was basically drinking $11 Coronas.
Oh, they were for piss beer, huh? Jeez.
Yes. Well, that's how cruise ships make their money.
Yeah.
I
hope you put a lime in it at least.
Nah.
No lime.
No lime.
I don't know. I drink Coronas, or I used to. Coronas or Heineken in Vegas for free. You know, tip the waitress $5.
Well, Alan, that's a very different thing if you're in Vegas and gambling. They will give you lots of beer because if you're drunk, you gamble more.
It's like totally different.
Yeah.
You couldn't get much. Well, you know, they gamble on cruises, right? Or do you? Some don't.
They had a casino or some slot machines, but I walked through it one day and people were allowed to smoke in there, and I'm going like, nah, don't want to hang out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's Gareth and Maeve. Watch some of the intro videos for Horror Mayhem to get a flavor of the event. All I think is if you read one horror story for the event, or maybe two in different decades, you're participating. You're getting into the feel of it.
Yeah, no, I would love to do that.
Malcolm McDowell is amazing, says Elaine. He is.
Yeah, I've never read him, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I've read his book Cold Moon Over Babylon.
All right.
And then the Blackwater. Blackwater is probably his magnum opus. It's just a magnificent book.
Huh.
Ooh, beautiful covers too.
Which one are you looking at?
The book cover, the Blackwater, the first book in the Blackwater.
I wonder how he escaped me, because is he like a Robert McCammon or
no? That's the Blackwater.
Because I've read all of Robert McCammon.
Show off my Blackwater. I mean, I love showing off my Blackwater covers. They're good.
Yeah, I haven't read any of them, so I'll get Blackwater too, and the Elementals. I don't know why it was Scott's, or why he told me it was one of his favorite horror novels, but he did.
Oh, I do have the Elementals on my list to read.
Now, Maeve, you can't do this, but this is how you read Blackwater. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5.
Oh, shit.
And Volume 6. They were like published as a serial.
Wow.
Okay.
Every month. Because it's really one long novel, but
yeah.
I never got to read it. I mean, imagine waiting for it every month for a new one.
Do the Green Mile like that too?
Yes, they did do the Green Mile like that.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
That's cool,
man, those books are so cool.
And the problem is, I see this one, it says $1.25 on the cover. Used. You look it up on the internet now, it's like $75, $50.
Guaranteed.
So, that's what I'm saying is you're not going to be reading it in this edition.
Yeah. Not unless I find it in the wild.
I think almost every used bookstore worth its salt is if someone to know it would know exactly how to price these.
I have found some really incredible books at not used bookstores, but just thrift stores, like secondhand stores that have, furniture and clothing and all of everything. That's where I find my like absolute gems is like their book section. I'm like, somebody must have like taken their, grandma's or grandpa's books after they passed and just thrown them at the thrift store.
I don't know if this is true. It sounds like it may be apocryphal, but someone did a video of like great thrift store finds.
Mm-hmm.
Like they say, ancient Roman coins.
Oh, okay.
And someone held a book that they had a first edition Great Gatsby signed. That someone bought for $3.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's like the Picasso in the attic. Right.
And, at some point you go to the thrift store and go, the thing is, I don't think I would.
You don't know.
I think
you don't tell them that. You take it, and after you buy it, then you say, after you've already purchased it and it's yours. You're like, it's mine. It's purchased, but also you have no idea what you just sold for $3.
Yes. Now the problem is when I go to thrift store, the vast majority of those books are utter rubbish, and buying them at $1 is generous.
Yeah,
that would have to pass through somebody who was illiterate too. Like somebody's going through all the books and stuff and the clothes, and they
don't care. They have so many. A lot of them are volunteers.
Yeah,
true.
I have a neighbor who volunteers for Habitat for Humanity.
I didn't think that argument through.
He's a volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. And he says, why don't you volunteer? Because if you volunteer and come with a book, someone will give you a call to do the books, and you can go through the books and go, Great Gatsby, I keep. Hemingway, I keep. All the rest you go. No, they'll try.
No, I'm sure you'd find amazing things.
Elaine's heading out.
Have a good night.
Lee, stay curious. Got it. Thanks for the tip. William, yes, I have Fatherland in my alt history book collection. Fatherland inspired me to write my own alt history novel. That's cool.
That's cool.
I made a video comparing Fatherland to 1984. I made the argument that Harris was clearly inspired by Orwell. I'll have to think about that.
I have read 1984, but I have not read Fatherland.
I haven't read Fatherland, but I have Imperial by Harris up on my shelf. I've read that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Red, speaking of drinks, Maeve, do you have a beverage when you read?
You always ask good questions.
Yeah.
What's your beverage of choice, Maeve?
Drink a lot of coffee and I drink a lot of tea. And I should drink more water, but
What kind of tea?
My favorite teas are chamomile and chai, but I drink a lot of different kinds of tea, and my brother actually sends me like loose leaf tea of like different blends that he finds. He's got like a local person that like makes their own little tea bags, and they like grow all of their own teas and stuff. So he'll send me different mixtures and stuff like that.
Have you ever tried matcha?
I love matcha.
Yeah, green tea. I like that too. I used to work at a tea factory. Greg knows. If I wouldn't,
Alan, I still have a lot of that tea you sent me because I
sent everybody boxes of tea.
I only drink hot tea on cold days.
Yeah, this was hot tea. It's like almost gourmet tea. It's real expensive in the store called Smith Tea Maker.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of like foreign shipments, but it's popular in Portland, in like Washington area, in grocery stores and it. Like you won't find it at Starbucks, but like Whole Foods has it,
mm-hmm.
like that. It was a fun place to work.
I don't drink a lot of coffee and tea from like Starbucks or whatever. Like I make my own, or I might go to like the really small family-owned like cafes. But I'm not not a Starbucks fan.
I'm drinking. I got like some Maxwell House, which I haven't had in years. I just saw it, and then I've got some like Dunkin' Donuts. I like Dunkin' Donuts.
There are some Dunkin' Donuts like the pre-made coffees that I will buy sometimes.
Keurig. You have a Keurig?
I don't. I just have like a normal drip coffee. I think it's a Mr. Coffee.
Yeah, I just have Mr. Coffee too. Old workhorse.
And
I've got a smaller one too that I don't even use.
Yeah, Colombian coffee mostly. But yeah.
Yeah, I switch off to like French roast or Italian even.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll switch it up.
I love Hawaiian coffee that Don Francisco.
I don't think I've had Hawaiian.
It's kind of expensive in little cans, but that's good for a treat if you're a coffee drinker. Hawaiian.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up, see if I can get some out here.
Don Francisco. But we haven't. I'm still reading. Now I always Praiseworthy, that Australian novel. I'm reading it on the Kindle, and then I have it on Audible. I'm reading it in a group with Jess at Stalking Kafka, and it's a biggish group. Must be over 10. That's pretty big. Like 10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a Australian novel about Aborigines. It's like one narrator, and he's got a potty mouth, and so he's funny, and it's blending that Aboriginal, like they follow their dreams, like nighttime dreams a lot, and they try to perceive things through their dreams, and that's just one aspect of the culture. But they're also, they know about fake news, and they know about all this stuff, and it's getting it's half funny and then half disheartening. They have a problem with this haze. I won't really get into it and bore you with it, but it's a good book. It's a newish book too, is why I jumped on it. I'm trying to read newish releases. Then I put up a Borges video. What story are you on, Greg? Oh shit, my battery's gone. Go ahead and talk. I can hear you.
I gotta go figure out what's in my board.
Left all alone. Just kidding.
Yeah, my battery's going on my damn laptop.
The next story I have to read is The Duel.
The Duel, okay.
I'm on page 380. I have just finished the Elderly Lady.
Okay, I'll have to read that.
I mean, I'm in a section of the book where it's not his best short stories.
Oh.
You know, he had a real strength earlier in his life. And I think these are the stories that he wrote after he went blind.
Oh.
He was like dictating. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're still phenomenal stories,
right.
But they don't have that amazing power of thought that he did.
That's in Bodie's report from 1970. Bodie's report, The Duel, and that. But I'll read it.
As I said, I'm going to read the whole book. I'm reading them in order.
Right.
And read a short story every week or so. Now, we had some interesting comments.
Go ahead.
Here's Lee saying, try Alexander Dumas for horror and ghosts.
I just read The Three Musketeers last year. I think it was last year. And I was gifted a really beautiful copy of Count of Monte Cristo for my birthday 2 weeks ago.
That's excellent.
And then I do want to read Man in the Iron Mask, but I don't know any. Does Dumas have any like shorter stories?
I know he's long.
Well, here's some horror. I have not read any of these. So I should probably try to pick up some of these for horror.
Are they short stories?
Like short stories.
Oh, okay. I'll have to save my
this
library.
edition, I think, is way out of print. But speaking of when you talk about Alexander Dumas, you have the Three Musketeers.
Yes.
And then you have another novel called 10 Years After.
Oh, yeah, because it was
which is the direct sequel to the Three Musketeers.
Yes.
And then you have a novel in French, which I believe is called 20 Years After.
Okay.
But in English, they break it up into 4 novels or 3 novels.
Mm-hmm.
And The Man in the Iron Mask is the concluding story to that 3rd novel.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was its own.
No, it's not.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm so glad you told me.
Now, the thing is,
read it
you might be able to read it as a standalone.
Yeah.
Or the story may just be, the point that he wrote this massive, like 2,000-page novel or something,
Yeah.
And it's just an independent story within it. That's entirely possible.
No, but I do want to read Count of Monte Cristo sometime.
Count of Monte Cristo is the best revenge story ever written.
I have heard that, and I do love the 1996 movie that they made, even though I know they changed the ending. And then there was another movie made last year, but it's in French, and I want to watch it with subtitles because I don't speak French. But I do love the movies. Yeah. I love the story. I just haven't read it. I want to read it. I've been trying to read the classics that I know the story, but I haven't read it. So like in the last few years, I read Dracula, Frankenstein. Like I said, I read The Three Musketeers. Just a lot of things. Gulliver's Travels. It's like I know the story, but I never.
Right, exactly. I felt that way exactly about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes, I read
those stories that you think you know, but really don't.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was an amazing story.
I probably like that the best out of like the horror classics that I have read so far.
Do you know the story behind Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
I do not.
Well, Robert Louis Stevenson married an older woman. She's like 10 years older than him, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is a background story. And he wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in a fever of like 3 days.
Okay.
And he said, "Oh, this is the best thing I've ever written." He gave it to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife was mortified. Story. And she was so terrified of the book, he burned it.
Wait, then how do we have it? Did he rewrite it?
He rewrote it afterwards. I guess his wife said, "No, I didn't want you to burn the book."
Yeah.
But apparently the original version was even more intense.
Yeah.
And from what people have intuited, that Mr. Hyde had sexual liaisons with men.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
And now this was Victorian England, and that would have
right.
Now I don't know if that's true. I mean, that's just kind of stories that have built up around his writing of that book.
Yeah. Well, and Oscar Wilde, not the same time period, I don't think. But so I also read The Picture of Dorian Gray while I was reading these classic horrors that I like, I know the story, but I haven't read the book.
Mm-hmm.
And and I didn't know while I was reading it that Oscar Wilde was gay. But I felt like in reading the book, I was like, this has very, like homosexual undertones in it, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then I read that he was, that he was gay, and I think he was imprisoned for being
gay. He went to prison for it.
Yeah. And so then I actually went out and started looking for some of his other books. And
it was an Irish jail spelled with a G, G-E-O-L, something. That's how they spelled jail, but it was like
they spell it goal, G-O-A-L.
Right.
And they pronounce it jail.
Jail. Exactly. It equals like a stone hole in the wall,
Didn't he also do
bread and water?
The Importance of Being Earnest?
Yeah, The Importance of Being Earnest.
Yeah.
That's a great play,
that's
too.
Another author
it's
that
hilarious.
I do love that one. I saw a play of it a long time ago, and I just laughed the entire time. But
yeah, I saw a play of it. Speaking of Dublin, I saw another funny one of his. It's called A Woman of No Importance, and it's
heard of that.
Yeah, it's really hilarious too. But I actually fell asleep like in the middle of it in the Abbey Theater. My friends around are like waking me up, and I'm going. It's embarrassing. But they laughed about it. Yeah.
So Marcia says, I have found books at the dump in my town that are much sought after. We say, yep, someone died and cleaned out the house.
Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine.
Well, I've told my wife that if she outlives me, she needs to go on my BookTube channel, announce that I passed, and have a date and say, come and get them.
Yeah.
Just come to the house.
Don't throw away my books if I die. Please.
I'm much happier with friends on BookTube just coming in and leaving with stacks of books.
No, it can't just be a free-for-all.
Why not?
It has to be like a time period. There's got to be some kind of organization on that. Because that's a true way
to Virginia than you are.
Greg wants to. God, Greg, that's going to incite a riot and all kinds of stuff, man.
Well, what else? I'll be dead. I won't care. Now, the thing is,
you'll be watching up there going, hee. We're all fighting and stuff.
I did tell her that I had a few books that are actually worth a little bit of money. Not, but some are worth a bit of money or a lot of money. And I said, if we're short of money, you keep those and sell those. But the rest of the ones like Sam Shepard, anyone, free for all.
7 plays. Yeah, was that 7 plays?
If you come to the house, you want it, it's yours. Take it away. Enjoy it,
Yeah, I wouldn't claim his Ulysses, but it's just, I'm sure it's not even marked up or anything.
It's a copy of Ulysses.
I know exactly where it is, though. Right?
Unless you moved it anyway.
Unless you moved it.
You'd probably take it anyway.
We're behind in comments. I need to get another code.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up. Gareth is making his last tea of the day. Kona coffee. The price of coffee is gonna hit the roof when the tariffs.
Probably.
People won't be drinking coffee anymore.
Yeah, I agree. If people don't like the taste of coffee, that's totally fine. But I hate it when people are like, oh, you drink coffee? Like, okay, maybe you eat a food that I don't like. Like,
yeah,
I'm not eating it. You can eat it. Like, whatever it is, I think that's just silly when people are telling you not to consume something that you whatever.
Enjoy.
Yep. I don't drink much coffee unless I discovered Pete's Major Dickinson a couple years ago. Hooked now.
Major Dickinson.
I guess it's a brand of coffee.
Pete's Coffee. We have Pete's in Portland. PETS. I don't know if she's talking. I forget where Constance lives, or she mentioned it before.
Oh.
But we have a Pete's like that.
Marcia, I love saying that coffee does not ask questions. Coffee understands.
Coffee does understand. Started drinking coffee at 18. Signed up for an 8 a.m. class for my first semester in college.
I started drinking coffee at 18. Signed for 8 a.m. class. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't start drinking coffee until I was in my mid-20s. I think I was 27.
That French film from last year, The Three Musketeers, is the one I want to watch, but I haven't got to it yet. Now it only kind of affects me. I drink it more for the ADHD focus.
I've heard coffee is actually really good for ADHD, for being able to focus. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I want to try to get into tea more, but I don't know why I do this. Maybe I don't drink it fast and it's always cold.
Drink smaller cups. So if you, do I have a teacup here? Oh, I usually have a teacup on my, so a lot of the time people will make tea in the same size mug as they do their coffee. If you get,
this is a tea. This is a tea.
So yeah, drink it in a smaller cup. So like make a smaller amount of tea. I mean, I use mason jars for my coffee and for my tea. I'll just fill it up because I like coffee and tea both hot and cold. So I don't mind when it cools down. But if you want it to stay warm, just drink smaller amounts of it. Just put it in an actual like teacup sized cup, or only make, half of a mug full of tea, and then it won't get cold.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. That's my tip. Tip of the day, tea tip.
Garrett says he drinks this fast.
Fine fast.
Well, the thing is, I drink sweet tea, so it's always room temperature or cold. So
yeah,
I don't worry about it.
No, I like all temperature teas and coffees.
I was way more into it when my grandparents had a steaming hot water faucet. It was custom made for their kitchen. Very
bougie.
We used to have the instant hot in our old house in Washington.
Oh man,
yeah, very convenient.
It is. What happens is that our old house had this automatic soap dispenser.
Mm-hmm.
You have the underneath. You screw in the soap underneath.
Oh yeah.
We took that out and we put a faucet through that same line, and underneath there was an instant hot. So you just press it, and instant hot water would come out.
I should do that. We're remodeling our kitchen later this year after we finish our bathroom. I live in a very old house. Our house was built in 1901.
No,
really?
So it's old. So we've been doing some remodeling. It was updated in the 70s where they redid the plumbing, and they did it really poorly. So we've had to tear out, we literally had to tear everything out of the bathroom all the way down to the beams where you can just see directly into our cellar, because it's not like an actual basement, because there was so much water damage behind the walls and under the sink, under the toilet, under the tub. The toilet was there was nothing that the toilet was sitting on. There was one full board and then half of a rotted board, and there was just a hole there.
So you could have just fallen through.
So we could have just fallen through and just whatever, So anyways, we're almost done with the bathroom, and then we're going to be doing the kitchen, because the kitchen has the same problem of there's just so much water damage underneath to almost everything where we're just going to have to gut it. But I haven't even thought about having an instant hot water thing.
There you go.
That sounds so good. I'm if I'm going to redo it and I can get whatever I want.
It's not really expensive.
Yeah.
I believe the hot water thing was $90 at Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that.
And it just goes under the sink and attaches to your little extra spout.
Now, we did have to hire someone to install it, because I'm not good at installing. Now, if you're handy, you have someone in your house who's handy.
Yeah.
It's probably real simple to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Now, the one issue we had is that we had a automatic disposal in our sink, and you have a button on the side.
Yeah.
Off and on, and then you have a power outlet underneath your sink that you plug your disposal into. And it's supposed to do the flip.
Yeah.
Now, it had 2 sockets. The electrician got really, really lazy.
Oh, no. I'm I know where this is going.
It's supposed to be one of the sockets is attached to the switch, and one of the sockets is always live. He just had both those sockets to the switch.
To the switch.
So we weren't getting any power to our hot water heater. And he said, "Well, you're going to have to rewire this."
Yeah.
And we called an electrician to rewire it, and he came in. He went through $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to get a little creative. At that time, we had all these Amazon devices, and you could speak to it.
Yeah.
You say, turn on this device. So I turned the switch on. I put one of those little devices under the sink and plugged it in. So when I went to the disposal, I just say, turn on disposal.
Wow.
Oh.
So it worked.
That's clever.
And that was, a $30 fix instead of $1,000 fix.
Oh.
But the thing is, the reason I brought it up is if you're doing the remodeling and the work, and you're having a workman go in there and they're putting a power outlet under your sink for disposal, say make sure one's live to the switch and one's always live, or one only when this.
I thought you were going to say, Greg, you miswired it backwards and did the switch, and it all came flying out.
I would not do any of that wiring myself because I know.
But you actually did a voice activation.
Yeah, because that's a plug. Wow. That's just plug it in.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's funny. That's scary.
I have never lived in a house with a garbage disposal in the sink, and I've never had a dishwasher. So
no, they're convenient.
So now, I'm like, they're convenient, but I don't even know if I would install them even with our remodel, just because I'm so used to just,
They actually save water.
We have a food trap, right? That you put into your sink. You just have the little food trap thing that you pull out.
Yeah.
Dump.
They say a dishwasher saves water.
And
it is, Alan. It's true.
I'm the dishwasher. I can wash the dishes.
Right. Yep. Alan is right. Is that they also say you don't have to run the dishwasher until it's full. Because these dishwashers now are really smart. They look and they can tell how many dishes you have in there.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, I can run 9.5.
It's crazy, but
it is crazy.
When I first moved in here, all the fridge and stuff and the oven, if you leave it open, it will beep. And one time my refrigerator actually scared me. I was reading or something and it's going beep, beep.
Yeah, our fridge does beep if the door gets left open.
Yeah, we have a really expensive refrigerator in our house. Because when we were living in Washington, we bought the land. The house had not been built yet, and then we said what we want, and we got a really upscale refrigerator that's like $3,000. Ridiculous. But they couldn't put it in. We moved it, so they gave us a free low-end refrigerator that's like $400 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this one with $400 is going to be working in 30 years. It's going to be until I'm dead, still running strong. And this $3,000 one, I've learned that they say it has a lifespan of maybe 6 or 7 years.
Oh my gosh!
And I go, why are you spending all that money?
Yeah,
but
I've seen people actually buying old refrigerators. That are from the early 60s and stuff like that because they still work.
No, okay, this one that's $400. I think this one will be working when I'm dead.
Yeah.
In 30 years.
No. Just do what works.
No moving parts.
Yeah.
Constance corrected my spelling. It's GAOL. I think I said GOAL. I think my vowels switched. I'm a terrible speller, so it's.
Oh, I can't spell out. If I'm writing, I can spell, but if you ask me to spell something out loud, I can't do it. I could never do a spelling bee because out loud, I just can't.
I wonder if the constant it might seem pedantic. Better from you, Gareth. At least you're a teacher. I guess. It is Portland's Pete's, Alan, in grocery stores. Major Dickinson is strong, ridiculously delicious flavors. They are.
Okay, so yeah, I was that's good. You know, I've never tried Pete's. They have one downtown. I walk past when I go downtown.
Coffee is not for everyone. That is for sure.
Yep. Here's MC. I'm 61 and never drank coffee. Tried it once and hated it.
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't drink it.
No, don't buy.
Yeah.
My drummer doesn't drink tea or coffee. Still haven't gotten used to that idea. Oops. Pete is from San Francisco. Says, Brian was here. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
It's nearly 3, and I'm going back to work tomorrow. I gotta go. Great chat, though. I've subbed to Maeve's channel.
Thanks for the sub.
Yeah. That's the end of the comments.
Ah.
We're all caught up.
We are caught up.
What kind of music do you like, Maeve?
Oh, man. I usually tell people that I like everything because I do like at least a little bit of everything.
Yeah. You like James Taylor?
My least favorite genres are like, I call it twangy country.
Like
but there is some that I like. And I don't like a ton of rap, but there's still some rap that I like. I mostly listen to rock and classical. Those are like my favorite genres. So, but I do listen to a little bit of everything or a lot of everything.
Do you like metal?
I do like metal. Yes.
What did you like, Judas Priest?
Yes.
I remember when they came on the scene in the 80s, Judas Priest and like Van Halen and Iron Maiden. And my friend turned me on to Judas Priest and Van Halen. He was like a drummer, and then we would play in his basement and switch instruments and stuff. But he was like the first kind of friend who died in high school. I don't know if you both have like one of those, had a friend who died in high school.
No.
Yeah, we went to his funeral. My dad went with me because it was after high school, but it was like a year or two after, and I was at Kent State, and he was I forget what he was doing, if he was going to school or what, but he died on a golf course. He was working some maintenance and effing around in like the tool shed. They had a big tool shed on the country club. Died, broke his neck, and was on life support. His mother was a nurse. My father was paramedic. I guess they knew each other. They took him off life support. It's a bummer, man. I still think about him. Sorry to bring the show down. God.
No, I haven't had anybody that I was close to pass while I was close to them, except for my grandpa who passed a little over 2 years ago. And I didn't realize how hard that was because I've known people who have passed away. Like I've had friends who, they were my friends in high school. We drifted apart after high school. And then I learned, 8 years after high school that they had passed away, but it's like we weren't close anymore. So it didn't really have the same effect. But when my grandfather died a couple years, like it's hard. I never understood grief before, and I still cry about it. I miss him all the time. I have some of his books on my shelves. He was also, most of his books are, Christian books, So like, it's not anything that I would ever read, but like they were his. And so
you like to have something to remember him by.
Yeah. I have some of his shirts, some of his button-up shirts as well. And then I have another necklace. I need to get a new chain for it because it broke. I have a locket that has a picture of him in it.
I was close to my grandparents, especially my grandma on my father's side, because my grandpa died when I was in junior high, like 12, 13.
Yeah.
But he did make it. He was in the hospital and made it to like the window and waved to us. It was weird. So you think, God, am I glad that he did that, or was that the thing that caused him to have a heart attack, or what?
Yeah.
but it happened so long ago. But yeah, I still think of my grandma. See, I have sleep apnea, so I dream a lot. I have reoccurring dreams in houses, and so I know, like, and I have reoccurring dreams about her house a lot, where I lived for a while. So it's kind of a cool house. So, do you dream at all?
I do. I dream a lot, actually. I have really vivid dreams. I used to have night terrors, but therapy. I've been to a lot of therapy in my life.
Therapy is good.
In a lot of ways.
Getting started on therapy. Through gestalt therapy, group therapy, it's diabetic, not diabetic, but DBT, CBT, cognitive therapy.
Yeah.
You know, what's the one where you put your partner or your mother or your father in a chair and talk to them? I think it's gestalt therapy.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what that is.
I've had other ones too, but go ahead, Maeve.
No, I just I don't remember what I was talking about.
Dreams. We're talking about dreams.
Dreams. Yes, I used to have night terrors. I used to have really, really bad, really vivid nightmares, and I wouldn't be able to like wake up from them. Like I would be, awake, but my body would be paralyzed. I couldn't. My eyes would be open. My brain would still be dreaming. And I couldn't move, couldn't speak or anything. And so I went to therapy and learned how to do, I can't think of what it's called, but it's where you can like kind of control your dreams. Like you can recognize that you're dreaming and like change.
Lucid dreaming.
It's called lucid dreaming.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I learned how to lucid dream, which I can do better now. It's not all the time. Yeah. I still have nightmares sometimes, but I do dream more often than not. Or I remember my dreams more often than not.
Yeah. Especially if you write them down or record them on a phone, you remember them. You'll start having like recurring dreams and sometimes even close to prophetic dreams and that. Mm-hmm. We were talking, I was kind of steering the self-help stuff to the woohoo. I mean, I read books about astral projection and I have a reoccurring dream about a library and don't want to get into Borges. It's been happening for over 10 years, 15 now. Yeah. I'm searching for a book. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is really cool. I've spirituality things, a lot of the reading that I've done when it comes to like spirituality and stuff. Rupert Sheldrake is my absolute favorite, but he talks about things like that, astral projection, meditation, and things in that vein,
Can you hear the drummers outside my window?
What?
Can you hear the Indian drummers outside my window?
No.
They're yelling,
I hear a little bit.
Just sitting and banging a drum. Anyway, they're downstairs.
When you talk about dreams, I don't dream much anymore. I used to when I was working. I had what I called monkey mind dreams.
What is that?
That's when I was like a computer programmer, and let's say I have a program that wasn't working right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I said, "Well, I got to fix it tomorrow." The problem would invade my dream, and I'd kept going over the problem over and over again, trying to get this solution to whatever problem, work problem is going on, and just repeat itself, and there was no solution.
I've had work dreams. I used to work in IT, so I worked in IT for 7 years, and I would have work dream. I would come home, I would go to sleep, and I would dream that I would wake up and I would go to work and I would go through my work day. Like I would just dream my entire day.
Wow.
And then when I got home in my dream and laid down to go to sleep, I would wake up and I'd be like, wait, I already did today. Like I've already been through the day.
Where's my money? Yeah.
And I would wake up so exhausted because I would feel like
oh
I
man,
hadn't slept, it's like I just got back from work. I just laid down, but really I had slept all night and I just dreamed about it. But yeah. Yeah, so a little bit of everything is what I like to say with my music.
Oh, Brian says Alan talks about therapy like Bubba in Forrest Gump talks about shrimp.
I like people say, how long you been going to therapy? Yeah, it's really working for me. How long you been going? About 14 years. That's an old Woody Allen joke. But I'm not in therapy. Yeah, I mean, I have a therapist I do Zoom with, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
I think I started going to therapy when I was 19, and I'm 38 now. So.
Yeah, I always wondered how old you were.
27 years? No, 20. I can't math right now. Almost 20 years. There we go.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing I've benefited from it, and I've benefited from meditation. I used to be really angry, my anger got me in trouble. I mean, I was really angry. But I don't know. People say somebody pushes their button and that. I just got a smaller button.
Or a bigger button. That's easier to push.
I don't get mad.
Anger management?
What?
Did you ever go to anger management or just therapy?
Just therapy. I was never court ordered. I went to jail and prison instead. I went right past anger management.
Yeah. I was going to skip that part and go straight to jail.
Yeah, it was due to my drinking, back in the day. And I won't get into it, but it really exacerbated itself after I got kicked out of grad school. I had nothing to really hold me down. And I was with a using girlfriend in a codependent relationship, and had a kid with another woman. It was insanity,
Yeah.
In the meantime, going to jail all the time and crazy. Yeah, but I haven't been in trouble in over 15 years. I shouldn't bring it up. But
I think
figure if you don't have any secrets, nobody can blackmail you.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, so I'm diagnosed bipolar, and I wasn't court ordered to, but I did go to an anger management class. One of my therapists had told me to go to an anger management class.
Oh.
And one of the main things that I learned from that class that they focused on was just learning different communication styles. And there's I think there's 5 different types of communication styles, and knowing your communication style and being able to recognize other people's communication styles can help avoid so much conflict when you can because they taught you okay, if you're this communication style and you're talking to somebody with this one, these are the things that you need to recognize and how to talk to them or how to get your point across or whatever. And they just did that with every type there. And they had us figure out what kind of communication style we used. And I don't remember what mine is, but I still have my binder with all my notes in it. And I've gone over it before. But yeah, I think again, that's why I like nonfiction. Psychology and sociology and spirituality and all of that. People are fascinating creatures, and they're awesome because you just are learning more about yourself and about your environment, which includes other people.
So here's Brian. Every time I tried astral projection, I just fell asleep.
I mean, hey, maybe
you gotta learn to kind of recognize that you're dreaming, and then after that, you gotta say, "Well, I'm going to fly." I used to have to fly out a window. Now I can just go through the ceiling. What I do is I recognize. I say, "Well, here I go. I'm going to test it out." Sometimes I make it. My problem is when I get to astral project, I try to slow it down. And I can talk a lot about it. It sounds like I'm crazy, but I'm searching for this library, and sometimes I meet people who try to stop me, and I gotta like throw a hex on them. Not I just in my mind, and I banish them. Shit like that. It's like a video game. Trying to find the library.
Yeah.
And Brian says, write your memoir, Alan.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think of Racine, the playwright, back when Moliere, he said, you cannot put real life on the stage. Why not? It's too damn boring. You know, everyone says you could, you know, I've got a novel in me. You know, it takes a lot of work to write. I used to write a lot of poetry. I have an MFA in poetry from Arizona State. So I used to write a lot.
I would love to read some of your poetry.
Now, yeah, my thesis was called The Experiments and the Adventures. I don't have it around, but
it's in a box in Phoenix.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had my Kent State diploma, actually. It was like a small one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We've been here where it is.
2 hours.
We have been on for 2 hours.
We have been on for 2 hours. It's about time to call it a night, I think. I know my cats are going to be wanting their evening treat.
How many cats
those fast. How many?
I have 4 cats.
Oh, nice. I have 1 cat, but he lives outside. He does not want to be inside.
He doesn't want to be an indoor cat?
No, he was an indoor cat until he was about 2. And then he snuck outside and never wanted to come back inside. But he'll come to the house and hang out, but he won't come inside. I miss having an indoor cat. I'm like, they're so fun. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all right. You were a great guest, Maeve.
You were a great guest. We'll have to invite you back sometime.
I would love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of things. See, I told you, Maeve. Greg would talk about the books, and I'd talk about what she had for breakfast.
I was a little bit nervous. I was like, I don't know what even to talk about.
I say this is my pub night. This is because I don't have a pub that I can walk to.
Yeah.
I invite people to talk on the internet on Monday nights, and we just pretend we're drinking beer and eating chicken wings.
I'll have to bring a drink next time.
All right. Okay, everyone. If you are still in the chat room, thank you so much for showing up. And again, Maeve, really enjoyable to have you on our show. Alan, thanks for finding her and inviting her.
Oh, you bet.
All right. I will catch you.
Everybody subscribe to Maeve. We should have said that at the beginning of the show.
We should. But you had a couple people subscribed already, so you should see a little bit of a boost.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night.